Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sportview-Media Day here at Holliston High School 2018. I'm Jay Wyman, along with me, Tom Emmons. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Hey, Jay.
And we have a nice show for you today. This is the Focus on Football Day for us. And we did a little bit of talking with some captains of the football team and a couple of the coaches, and came out pretty well.
Yeah, no. Panther football, always exciting. You and I are excited about this season. And new season, we've seen some good stuff so far. The schedule for the Panthers, they only play six games, not 7. But we've already had first game in the box against Norton. They won 33-15. And it was a good, solid game on offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah, they did a very good job, especially that defense was tremendous until the very last drive that Norton had when the game was actually over. Holliston, I think it held them to 100 yards.
They did.
Total. And that was really something. And the offense looked really strong. The passing game looked good. The running looked good. The offensive line looked good. We'll talk a little bit with the coaches about that. And as you said, the special teams also did a nice job. They also looked very good against a Milford team that plays in the Hockomock League, a little bit bigger town. So we're not quite sure. It's always tough this time of the year because we don't know how good the other teams are. But if those other teams are as good as we think they were, as I talk to the coaches, I think we're going to be really happy with what goes on here this year.
I think that Norton team was a very solid team, Jay. They had a new coach, Rob McCoy, but he had been their most successful coach from just a few years ago that he brought back. He works in the school system, certainly knew the kids. They had 3-year starting quarterback, and they had a good front line. So I picked them as my top team in the Tri-Valley League Small. Norton moves from the large division to the small division this year. But I think that Norton team was pretty solid. So I was excited to see the success that they had. You said the defense was outstanding, very aggressive. And then the offense, sort of the stars of the game, Matt Arvanitis, the quarterback, and Anthony DeZindel at the wide receiver, they connected on 3 touchdown passes, which, wait a second, history alert, Ken Dunn, you're going to love this. It was the 11th time in Panther football history that a quarterback and receiver had connected on touchdown passes in a game. So
in any game, not just opening games.
In any game, right.
Wow.
So that's pretty. It was the first time it ever happened against Norton, but they're already setting the record books. And for Coach Kiley coming into his 16th season, it was his 130th career win, which is the most of any Panther coach.
Unbelievable. Little segue into the schedule this year. Tom, want to talk a little bit about some of the changes in the TVL Lodge?
Yeah, well, we've got in the Tri-Valley League, Westwood, Medfield, Hopkinton all come back. Norton, as we mentioned, moves down to the small division. Ashland Clockers move up to the large division this year. And Holliston will play the Clockers for the first time since 2013.
And then we have another team joining.
And then joining the Tri-Valley League, the Norwood Mustangs. So there'll be 6 teams in the Tri-Valley League large, and then 6 teams in the Tri-Valley League small division.
And this is not just for football.
This is for all
going
sports.
To be for all sports going forward. So it's a big difference. So what will happen is you play these teams more and more, those rivalries will start to come back.
Right. Yeah. No, so this week, unfortunately, there's a bye week, so no football for us, so boo-hoo. Yeah. But then Holliston will have homecoming on the 21st. Westwood will be coming here, which sort of knew that they're going to start off their Tri-Valley League season like they did last year against Westwood, get their big rivalry up front. And then they'll travel to Medfield and Hopkinton, both teams that we expect to be very strong, although Medfield got beat by Dedham on their first game last week.
Yeah, a little difference in quarterbacking of both of those teams. Medfield kind of lost their quarterback, right? He transferred, I believe. And Kelleher is still at Hopkinton, and heck of a ball player, and he had a really nice game against Wayland, too.
Yeah, 20-0. And then Holliston will go travel down on a Saturday game to Norwood High School because they don't have lights.
Right.
So be there Saturday afternoon, and then it'll be the Clockers here on October 19th, that Friday night. That'll be a big one.
The Clash of the Titans.
Clash of the Titans. Actually, Ashland beat Midway their first game, 21-20.
Yep.
So Clockers are on their way, and I expect that to be a good game.
They've got a good quarterback too, so they're looking stronger and looking better. And I'm really glad that rivalry is back again, because it's really important to both schools, I think.
And then the Jim Mora time of the year. Playoffs. Holliston will be looking forward to making the playoffs this year. If they can, in these 6 games, they probably got to finish 4-2 to have a shot at the playoffs and be in that tough Division 5 South with Dennis, Yarmouth, Falmouth, Scituate, Hanover, Midfield along there. There's some tough teams.
When are we going to get to move to the Central? That's what I want to know. But
yeah,
you're absolutely right, Tom, and it's incredibly important. As we've seen over the last several years consistently, it's very important for any team, especially Holliston, to get that home field advantage. So they'll really be looking for that against any team. If they can run the table, if that happens, that's going to give them a good shot at having the home field throughout.
Well, we know they're excited about the season, and we're hoping that the Red Sea is going to be out there unforced, because there's nothing that helps this committee and field crowd. And Holliston is 42-8 here at Committee and Field over the last 9 years. So, home sweet home for these Panthers. Let's show up and support our team. But without further ado, let's get to some of the interviews. It's great. I want to talk to the coaches and the captains.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're here with the 2018 Holliston Panther football captains, Scott Elliott, number 72, and Will Crowley, 57. Thanks for being here, guys. Already had the first game of the season, but would like to talk a little bit about the off-season training. What got you here, and what's the stuff you guys do over the summer as captains' practices?
Yeah, so over the summer we have workouts 6:30 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And they're optional, but we get great attendance from everybody from seniors to freshmen. And then on Tuesday nights we have passing league that's just 7-on-7 skill positions, and we compete against towns like Ashland, Natick, Dexter, a private school was there this year, and just compete, and we work really hard. A lot of the guys had a chip on their shoulder this year. A lot of sweat went into the summer, and we were really proud of it.
You also had some camps you went to this year?
Yeah, we had a UMass camp and then Eastern Mass camp with a couple of towns in the area.
What are those like? Those take about a week or so?
UMass is about a weekend, and then Eastern Mass is just 3 days in the middle of the week before the season starts.
Nice.
So you want to talk about the new weight room. You got some new equipment in there. Do you think that helped get the guys going to show up for the workouts?
Yeah, I guess. Everybody was really excited. The coaches showed us pictures, a little preview before the summer got going, so everybody was really excited. That got done about a little after July started. So, a lot of dumbbells. The new weights are great, and it's just really nice in there.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times we do media day, obviously, at the beginning of the year, but this time we do it a little bit later in the year. And so we've had one game already, played Norton, good team. I want to talk a little bit about the defense, Will, if you can, a little bit. I just think the defense played out of their mind. Both against Milford, too, I thought they did very well. But talk a little bit about the defense, especially that front seven, that looked very, very strong this year.
Yeah, I think our D-line's doing pretty well, holding their ground, splitting doubles, and our linebackers are being very aggressive downhill, reacting to the run pretty well.
And you like playing for Coach Athey? He's pretty aggressive?
Yeah.
It turns your guys loose?
Yeah.
Now on offense, you guys are playing different positions. You were playing tackle last year. You played more center, some guard, but now you moved over to tackle. You're at guard. How do you feel about those new changes this year?
I think both of us were pretty confident. Coach Perry does a great job just getting us ready. All 5 of us can play any position on the O-line, so we were pretty prepared. And, I like running and pulling and everything, getting to hit people on the run.
And, of course, you got the 2 different offenses, right? You got the spread and the war offense. Any difference in the way you guys approach those as an offensive line?
As spread, obviously we pass the ball a lot more, so it's a little bit more like pass pro there, and then war, we're more downhill, doubling up, getting the backers, stuff like that.
Which do you prefer?
I like war.
Yeah. You'd rather hit than be hit, right?
Yeah.
Now, Scott, you've been had a lot of articles been written on you because you were heavily recruited, and now you've decided on Harvard, and you're obviously pretty pleased with that decision. Tell us a little bit about the process and about your decision to choose Harvard.
I mean, the process was pretty hectic. A lot of coaches coming in, me getting pulled out of class a lot. And then, last fall I took a lot of visits, which took up most of my weekend. But, I mean, when it came down to it, Harvard was just, I loved it. I took a couple visits there. I love the entire coaching staff, not just the O-line coach and the head coach, but just the entire coaching staff was great. It's close to home, so my mom was pretty happy about that, being a Massachusetts girl. Yeah, and obviously the academics speak for itself,
Very good. Will, just talk a little bit about the season coming up. Obviously, you had a nice win down at Norton. Got a bye this week, and then Westwood, and then we start the TVL Lodge. What are you guys looking for as far as any teams who may be looking maybe the better teams in the league this year?
Yeah, TVL looks pretty strong this year. Hopefully we can have a pretty good season, but it starts with Westwood.
And then, of course, you have a couple changes this year. Ashland comes in, TVL Lodge, and Norwood, too. So you get to play a couple teams you hadn't played in the past.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, playing them new, so we don't know as much about them, but we'll get some film on them, study up, and hopefully perform well.
Very good.
I got to talk about the most new thing, Captain Obvious here. What about these new uniforms, huh?
Yeah, we liked them. We helped Coach make them, and I like them a lot. I think the Red Sea and the fans will like them too when we bring them out against Westwood.
So these are gonna be your road whites then, or for the most time, or are you gonna wear the whites at home, or are you not supposed to say?
I'm not even sure yet. I don't think we know what we're gonna be wearing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that if you guys have any input into what colors you wear.
Yeah, they'll ask us for like blacks if we want to wear the alternative, but they usually are the ones who make the decision, the coaches.
Yeah, we got to see the new helmets at the passing league with the reflective H on there. I thought those looked pretty sharp. So that should have been a precursor that might have had an idea that probably some new uniforms. So you guys deserve it. You worked hard, both senior captains, and we wish you all the best this season.
Thank you.
Senior captains of the Holliston Panther football team. All right, we're here with two of the coaches at the Holliston Panther football team. We have head coach Todd Kiley and defensive coordinator Paul Athey. Welcome to the show, guys. Always good to be here on HCAT Media Day and have our Meet the Coaches talk. I got to ask you, new season, new goals this year? What overall goals, league goals, next game goals? What do you guys set for this season?
You know us, Tom. It's not about, we don't set any season-long goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talk about our first game, which we've already had, which is sort of a unique situation with Media Day.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had our first game. Now we're talking about Westwood, our second game. Unfortunately, we have the bye week, which you put in, I think, just as much effort as I did trying to get that week 2 opponent. So.
I know. I got to take my wife out on date night now. I usually not around on Friday nights in the
Right.
fall.
Well, that's a win-win, though, right? For the missus.
It is a win.
Not
Yeah.
for her.
Definite win. Definite win-win. So, you know what, though, our kids, this is a locked-in group, a real focused group. We've noticed nothing seems to faze them from a mental standpoint. They're locked in right now. We don't have a game Friday, but we had a great practice yesterday. We'll anticipate a good one today, shortened version, and we're going to be ready for Westwood come next Friday. This is, like I said, this group is a lunch pail group, and we just go to work every day. It's a mentally and physically tough group so far. So we're excited about our next challenge. We wish it was this Friday, but we'll be ready next Friday.
Okay.
Well, yeah, as Coach said, this is a different situation here because we've had actually a game and a half. I guess you would call it the Larry Bowl. Yeah. I'm really excited about the defense this year. I really am. I think up and down, you guys look very athletic, very quick, very fast. Talk a little bit about what you see this year.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Great. It started, it sounds a little redundant, but it started in the weight room this year. But we had a lot of guys. I mean, we started, I think it was 7 underclassmen against Hanover and on Thanksgiving last year on the defense. So a lot of those guys are coming back with meaningful snaps and experience. And, those veterans have been great. They led the weight room. But, we like where we are athletically. Up front, we're strong. This is a smart group. We did some things down in Norton that they handled. So, it's exciting. They're athletic. They're physical. They're tough. Like Coach said, they're lunch pail. They go to work. We just got to keep improving, as you know. But happy where we started the year between the games, and flying around against good teams. Those are physical teams that we matched their intensity, and that was the challenge, and they stepped up to it defensively.
Yeah, Norton I thought was a very physical team, and you guys come in, and there's certainly no finesse on that side of the ball as far as Holliston's concerned. You guys really went right at them man to man, and I thought they were a very good team. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it seemed like if they were as good as I thought they were, that's really good news for Holliston.
Yeah, I mean, just offensive line, I think, was the strength of their team, their run game, and I think we matched the intensity there, and we covered well. A lot of those athletes played over on defense, too. But I think their core, they had their captain is an offensive lineman. They had three or four guys returning and some good size up front. So we were happy with that big tight end, and we were able to match that. Yeah.
The other thing I kind of noticed in that game that you talked about what you guys do in the summer and all your preparation and everything. There were a lot of kids cramping up down there, and they were all Norton kids. And is that just a function of you guys being in better shape, do you think?
Well, you know what? I'm going to speak to that because he's not going to want to talk about what he does. But I would put our summer weight training and speed program against anybody's. And that I compare it to even college programs. So Friday night was a direct result of our kids just being in fantastic shape. The program that Coach Athy runs in the summer. I mean, we're all there as coaches, but, and ABT is a big part of that as well. But Coach Athy in collaboration with ABT, and just working it. And these kids get top-notch, and top-notch training. So, and it carries into obviously the preseason. And we were in phenomenal shape, but like Coach Athy says, we got a long way to go in all phases. This is a group that needs to improve every week. If we do, we're gonna be very competitive. If we don't, then it's I think we all know what could happen there. So, and we're gonna face better teams than Norton. Norton was a very good team, but I think we will face. There'll be a couple of better opponents that we'll face. So, and all the good teams improve. So we need to be able to do that. Need to get better every day.
And I think as a staff, too, we did a nice job rotating, especially on the O-line, D-line. That was helpful. All our staff had a good rotation going. A couple of our bigs up front defensively are starting on offense, and we were able to give them timely blows. Same thing with the receivers, which was good. And our backs rotate. So a little bit of depth, which helps. And we, like Coach says, we try to stay ahead of the strength program, bring in progressive stuff that the colleges are doing now. And we've been fortunate, blessed with a great new weight room, which the kids really embraced this year. That was a great addition to the school.
I mean, I know there's a lot of different kids than last year too, but the way you ended last year, that defensively, especially, both offense and defense, the last two games were just sensational. I really thought they were really, really good. Does that carry over at all?
I think, I just personally, my opinion, I think any group that, this thing, Coach Cotty's built this to a point, they don't want it to slip on their watch. And I think that, last year when we played in a couple consolation games, the slippage there to say, hey, this isn't going to happen on my, 2018 is not, that was the exception to the rule. This is the norm. So I think there's a carryover from intensity of work and, maintaining the level of excellence that these kids want to, that their brothers before them did. And I think that's, but yeah, the energy was great how we finished, I think.
Yeah, I want you to talk a little bit about your coaching staff this year. Any changes on that?
So no, we get the same crew back. We were just joking about it in there. We're We're back. These guys are back.
Media day.
Yeah, back for punishment. But you know what? It's we work extremely hard. And you want to put these kids in the best position, right? You want to give these kids the best opportunity to succeed, and as coaches, that's our job. So we work tirelessly in this room right here, late Sunday into Sunday nights, Monday nights, and then on the practice field during the week. We do a lot off season too. So these guys put in a lot of hours. If you as a head coach, it's my I feel like it's my responsibility to put in the extra hours. These guys as assistants, if we worked out their hourly wage, you're talking cents, you're not even talking dollars. So, but we love doing it. It is a brotherhood within a brotherhood. And it's just the challenge, new crop of kids, and doing it with these, with a new group and new challenges. As you asked in your opening question, what are our goals? It's, our goals are always to be better than the previous day. Mm-hmm. So as long as we're better today than we were yesterday, then we've reached some goals. But if we can stay healthy, we should be competitive.
Talk about how the coaching staff brotherhood, because you have had these guys together for a long number of years,
Right.
and I see that you continue to push yourself to get better, as well as push the kids and push each other. How does that translate when you get on the field, game day responsibilities, communication? Is that something that you continue to try to work yourselves on so you can get better at that decision making during the game?
Oh, absolutely. Like if you're not trying to get better as a coach and as a collective coaching staff, then in my opinion, why be out there? You got to continue to get better. So yeah, we continue to talk as a staff after practices, after games. What do we, where did we go wrong? Where do we go right? What can we build on? So we're constantly revisiting things, talking about personnel. But as far as games go, it does help to have a veteran staff that you've been with for so long. At this point, we finish each other's sentences, and there is a method to our madness out there. So it is some of the things that you used to have to think about game-wise. Those are just second nature. We're just
during the course of a game. It's I know just substitution packages. What's coming down from the booth. It's just that you get into a rhythm you're comfortable with because you've done it so many times. At least from a defensive staff standpoint, I know it's helpful.
Now the new Milford coach, well, not new this year, but last year, Anthony Vasakis, right? Yeah. Now you've got a coaching tree. Are there more branches out there from guys that have been through the program?
Leave, maybe, but nobody's leaving.
Right, nobody, right.
Are getting brittle here.
Nobody ever leaves, but I stress out about it because now you get other coaches out there, with our terminology and our signals and numberings, but we have enough. There's enough, of disguise in there, and they know that as well. You're not going to pick, but it's just my nature, Yeah. But Anthony's there. Brian Martinelli's in Foxborough. He was with our coaching staff.
The south, he's in the south bracket.
Yeah, so a few branches on the coaching tree after.
It was nice to the mentor-mentee relationship the other night. You guys saw, which was kind of nice, the 2018 version of that game.
Yep. Well, Coach Stevens tells me, we'll talk about the war in a minute. I think he's thinking you're on his tree. I don't know.
Oh, really? The war?
That would be Nick.
The war package? Well, as we were discussing before, so that was in a game that we played. That we went and watched where Medfield played Whittier, which we were kind of introduced to the double wing, and that's when we,
right?
So that's when we went out and researched it, and did about a year. I did about a year's worth of research, and within that year, they ended up coming out in it, coincidentally. So they had a similar idea.
Coach Kiley's version's the
Yeah.
league version, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
So yeah, he may claim that, but yeah,
Seen our
no,
results.
that's
Oh,
not.
better name. War is a way better name than Diesel.
Oh,
Yeah.
way better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't get any better than
results
that.
at Gillette firsthand,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask the offensive line. They've looked very good. The first two, the first, from what I could see there, maybe a penalty here or there, but they've looked very, very good. Happy with the strength of the offensive line?
Love our offensive line. Yeah, it is a good group, and we got
350 minimum squatters, I think, across the
yeah.
board on that.
Really?
So strength-wise, we're there, and just when you have two leaders like we do between Scott Elliott and Will Crowley leading that line, I mean, you're seeing. You don't realize it until you get into it how much of those two mean to the rest of the group. But they're a close group. You know, they don't see themselves as any bigger part than the rest of the group that is on that line. And they're working hard. They're a tight group. They go out to dinner together, and they spend it's a cohesive group. Coach Athey's son is part of that.
I saw that.
line.
I saw that, yeah.
line.
He's in his glory.
There's,
Finally got an
there's
athlete.
another athlete.
No, he got his athlete. Yeah.
So no, very pleased with the line. Again, they need to continue to improve, but I think it's a definite strength of ours for sure.
The other thing I just want to run by you quickly, Matt Arvanitis. I saw him on. Tom kind of knew about how athletic he was. We talked about this. I think was it Thanksgiving last year? Was it Thanksgiving
Hanover,
Day?
yeah.
Hanover.
Yeah.
Hanover. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He
Yeah.
played at Hanover, and I watched him. And I said, I thought he was a little smallish and everything, but he threw a very nice ball. And then I was kind of wondering, well, is he going to be able to throw deep? Boy, did he look good down in Norton.
Yeah, he has a strong arm, right? He's a smart kid. He's a tough kid. We were just waiting him for him to physically mature, and he's still going through his spurt. You don't care about height. You just physically you want to send a kid out there you feel good about.
Strength.
Yeah. It just from a safety perspective too. So he's in the midst of his spurt. He's plenty big enough
Big game
now.
man, a
Yep.
winner, too.
And he's a smart kid. Now he's got a long way to go, obviously, but if he continues to improve, he'll do good things. So yeah, and then the playbook, I didn't have to condense that playbook at all for him.
Fantastic. Good.
So we even expanded it
Yeah.
just because of what he's able to do, and some of the other quarterbacks that are on that same depth chart are able to do.
And then
so.
we also saw at passing camp, we saw passing league, Anthony DeZindalet seems to have really come into his own.
Yeah, well, you saw it passing league wise, and then you saw it Friday night.
Both
yeah,
sides of the ball. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
it's a kid.
Nice pass
When
breakup early on.
when he plays with
That's
confidence, he's a force. So he's going to continue to play with confidence. I know, especially after starting out the way he did.
Most proud of Diz late in the game. Him and Topher Ryan, our tight end and our wing in that war package, they were getting movement. So this kid pass breakup, played corner the whole game, 3 touchdowns, and then late in the game when the game's to close out a game, that's great. Football player. Coming in.
Topher's looked good both in the Larrissy Bowl and
Right.
in
Yep.
Norton.
Yeah, no, he's come on. There's another kid, confidence wise. He is. You can tell he's playing with a lot of confidence, and it's the case. That's the case with a lot of kids, right? They have the talent, they have the tools to do it. It's about them believing in themselves, right? And there's 2 kids that are believing in themselves right now, and the results are backing that up. So.
I know "Believe" was on the T-shirts one year. What was on the back of the T-shirts this year?
Funny you ask. We're still holding those out. So
Yeah.
that's a secret right now, Tom. Yeah.
It's safe with me. You can tell.
Yeah, you guys will be the
It's,
first to know.
you will.
I
will.
You can tell me
I
I'm
will
not on
text you-
Facebook or any of that
Coach's
stuff.
I will. Yeah.
That'll go.
I'll text you a picture of them as soon as we get them. You'll be the first to know.
Okay, another HCAT exclusive. Well,
Yep.
thanks for being with us, guys. We wish you all the best this 2018 season. We enjoy being a part of the football family, and you guys, it's always great to talk to you and talk a little football. So
Awesome.
Thanks for
you.
taking
You
time
guys
out
do
of your
Friday
day.
nights. It's unbelievable.
Thanks for having us. And thanks for all you do.
So Todd Kiley and Paul Athey, coaches of the Holliston Panther football team.
Tom, the one thing I noticed talking to the captains is that Scott Elliott dwarfs you.
He is a big dude.
He's a big boy. And you know, the other thing, Will is a good-sized kid, too. I mean,
He's one of the strongest on the team.
yeah, and you can tell why now that offensive line that the coaching staff talked about is being so strong. And the defense overall is strong, but that front seven in the defense is just really something.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, Scott Elliott and Will Crowell, they're great captains, solid guys. Obviously, they put lots of time in training, getting this point. We heard Coach Athey say, sort of a feeling, I don't want it to happen on my watch. These two senior captains know it. They're serious. They're all business. I don't want to face those guys.
No.
And as you pointed out, they've done a great job with the Milford scrimmage and then the first game against Norton. They're well on their way.
And you know, it's interesting. If the thing about high school football is that, and this is why I think it's very hard to coach high school football too, is that if you're in a public school like Holliston, you get with who comes here, right? You don't get to go and pick people and put them in place. You get with who comes here. One of the things, Holliston does get some good numbers and some really good athletes. But boy, every year you kind of think, okay, we graduated these kids, so who's going to replace them? And boom, here comes a Matt Avanitis or an Anthony DeZindalat or Tristan Benson. All these kids come in, and it doesn't look like they skipped a beat.
Right. Well, I think some of the things we heard when we talked to the coaches, these guys like each other. They hang out with each other. There's the offensive line brotherhood, which we've heard about. But then there's continuously through the team. They like being together. They realize that the goal today is to grind together, every day. Every day, just hammer at it, and it'll take us where we can take us. And they enjoy being together, and so that's what keeps it in. It's always relationship.
Yeah, and a little piece of advice: if you run into the dinner where the offensive line is there, run before they stick you with a check.
Yeah, well, or if it's an all-you-can-eat, don't be at the back of the line.
Yeah, but no, they really do a nice job. And the other thing is that the coaches talked about a little bit that I think is just a major plus for this entire program is the consistency of coaching staff. And how they've been here, they know each other, they understand each other. As Coach Kiley said, they finish each other's sentences, and you can really see that. I don't know if maturation is the right word, but you can see the evolution of that coaching staff over the 14 or 15 years we've been doing this, and how they've evolved, and they are really special. It's a really special.
They're on top of their game for sure. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Let's play some ball, except what are you doing this Friday night?
I don't know.
I got to tell you, I'm taking Carol out. So
okay, I guess I'm not going with you.
No.
All right, I want to thank the lovely Lisa there on camera. I want to thank, of course, the two captains, Will and Scott, and Coach Athey, and, of course, Coach Kiley. And Coach Kiley for all he does for us and keeping us involved in this. Also want to thank Matt Baker because he keeps us involved too. Other than that, thank you all very much, and we'll see you at the football games.